Good morning, students. Today, we begin one of the most significant chapters in modern world history, the First World War. This war, fought from 1914 to 1918, changed the world map, destroyed empires, and sowed the seeds for the Second World War. We'll understand why the war began, its causes, and how it reshaped the world through its outcomes. The First World War, also known as the Great War, was fought between 1914 and 1918. It began in Europe but soon spread to Asia, Africa, and beyond, involving over 30 nations. This was the first truly global conflict in history. Modern weapons, industrial power, and imperial ambitions made it one of the deadliest wars ever fought. The world was divided into two rival groups. On one side were the Allied powers, Britain, France, and Russia, later joined by Italy and the United States. On the other side were the Central Powers, Germany, Austria, Hungary, the Ottoman Empire, and Bulgaria. Each side was determined to assert its dominance and defend its allies, turning Europe into a battlefield. To understand why such a devastating war occurred, we must examine four main causes: nationalism and imperialism, the growing armament race, the division of Europe into hostile alliances, and finally, the spark that lit the fire, the Sarajevo crisis. Nationalism was sweeping across Europe in the early 20th century. Countries like Germany, France, and Britain were filled with patriotic pride and a desire to prove their superiority. Imperialism, the race for colonies, added fuel to the fire. Each nation wanted to expand its empire in Asia and Africa, leading to intense rivalry. Germany wanted to challenge Britain's naval supremacy and France's colonial influence. This competition created suspicion, jealousy, and hostility among the great powers. The second major cause was the armament race. European nations began to glorify war and built massive armies and navies. Germany and Britain were locked in a dangerous competition. Germany built battleships to rival Britain's mighty navy. At the same time, every nation stockpiled guns, tanks, and ammunition. This constant preparation for war created tension and made the outbreak of conflict almost inevitable. Europe was divided into two armed camps, the Triple Alliance and the Triple Entente. Germany, Austria-Hungary, and Italy formed the Triple Alliance in 1882. In response, Britain, France, and Russia formed the Triple Entente in 1907. These alliances meant that if one nation went to war, others were automatically drawn in. It turned local disputes into potential global wars. The immediate cause of the war was the Sarajevo crisis. On June 28, 1914, Archduke Francis Ferdinand, the heir to the throne of Austria-Hungary, was assassinated in Sarajevo by a Serbian nationalist, Gavrilo Princip. Austria accused Serbia of the crime and declared war. Russia supported Serbia while Germany supported Austria. Soon, France, Britain, and others joined, and what began as a local conflict turned into a world war. The war began in August 1914 and lasted 4 long years. The Western Front between Germany and France saw endless trench warfare. Soldiers lived in muddy, rat-infested ditches, facing machine guns and poison gas. New weapons like tanks, submarines, and airplanes changed warfare forever. The entry of the United States in 1917 gave new strength to the Allies. By late 1918, the Central Powers collapsed and Germany surrendered. The First World War ended officially in 1919 with the Treaty of Versailles. The war caused the death of nearly 10 million soldiers and even more civilians. It redrew the map of Europe and created new nations. To prevent future wars, the League of Nations was formed, though it later failed to stop the Second World War. The Treaty of Versailles punished Germany severely. It had to accept full responsibility for starting the war. The War Guilt Clause. Germany was forced to pay enormous reparations to the Allied powers. It lost all its colonies and important territories like Alsace-Lorraine. Its army and navy were reduced to minimal strength. The treaty created deep resentment in Germany, which later fueled the rise of Adolf Hitler. The war completely redrew Europe's political map. Austria-Hungary was broken into smaller nations, like Austria, Hungary, Czechoslovakia, and Yugoslavia. Poland re-emerged as an independent nation. The Ottoman Empire collapsed, and Britain and France took control of its territories in the Middle East. These territorial rearrangements sowed the seeds of future conflicts. To ensure lasting peace, the League of Nations was established in 1920. Its goal was to prevent wars through discussion, diplomacy, and collective security. However, the League lacked authority. Powerful nations like the USA never joined, and others ignored its resolutions. Its failure to stop aggression in the 1930s eventually led to the Second World War. The war caused unimaginable destruction, over 10 million dead, and economic ruin across Europe. It marked the decline of European dominance and the rise of the United States and the Soviet Union as new world powers. Germany's humiliation under the Treaty of Versailles created anger and revenge, paving the way for World War II just 2 decades later. To summarize, the First World War was caused by aggressive nationalism, imperial rivalries, the arms race, and entangling alliances. It ended with the defeat of the Central Powers and the harsh Treaty of Versailles. Though it was meant to bring peace, the treaty only planted the seeds of the next global conflict. The war forever changed the balance of power and the map of the world. In conclusion,
the First World War was a tragic lesson in human history. It showed how unchecked nationalism, militarism, and greed for power can destroy entire civilizations. The war gave birth to new nations and new ideas of peace and cooperation. It reminds us that true peace can only come through justice, understanding, and unity among nations.
thanks for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed our journey. Don't forget to like and subscribe our channel for more videos.